G'day, my name is Heather Alice Drake, and this is the very beginning of the beginning of a new TV channel show. And my co-host, Ginny Jones, we're actually partners in crime because we've decided to bring something so mystical to you. Ginny, welcome.
Thank you, Heather, and welcome everyone who's watching.
We were just laughing before because today's topic, and we're going to have lots of topics and we're going to jump from here to there. You're going to get to know us each time you see us here. We're going to talk about ghosts. We're going to talk about imprints. We're going to talk about psychic gifts. But we were just talking before and we're laughing away because a mutual friend of ours is going over to Ireland, and she, I know, is going to be wrangling castles. And Ginny, you have a story about this.
I do. When we lived in the UK, I absolutely love old buildings. I was brought up around old buildings and manor houses and things like that. But anyway, this one time I decided to take the kids to Portland Castle, which the history of Portland Castle is that it was built by Henry VIII. It was one of his holiday homes. So anyway, we're looking around the castle and I'm not fully, obviously I've always sensed energy, as you know by watching my interview, but I'm not fully aware of what's going on. And I'm stood in the castle and I'm feeling the energy, and it's like giving me, the hairs are all standing up on the back of my neck. And I've got the two little kids next to me, and we're wandering around and we're wandering around on our own, and it's getting dusk. So the atmosphere is all there as well. And anyway, I'm just reading this information, and honestly, I felt this energy come right up behind me, and it felt ominous, like, so I grabbed the kids and went, come on, we've got to get out of here. I mean, now, if it was to happen now, I would probably turn around and tune in to see who it was. And if it was Henry VIII, I'd probably say, oh, let's get out of here.
You know, what I love about this, it's so very natural.
Yeah.
And we all get hairs on our head standing up and the bristles on our back standing up. Yeah. And so this is why Ginny and I have come to you all, and these are why we're bringing so much to you, is because we can.
Yeah.
Two factors for me, Ginny, as we spoke before, is there's a lot of ghost hunts lately. You see people paying big money for come on a ghost hunt.
Yeah.
And I'm going there going, I'm going, oh whoa, no. Because the spiritual realm for me is respectful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you are respectful, then they are respectful. And of course, you know, as these weeks go by, Ginny and I are going to take you into the levels of, I call it the flat line and the astral plane, and then we have the cosmic plane, and oh wow, we're just visitors in this world.
Yeah.
That's all we are. But one of the questions that came up, Ginny, was ghosts, you know, people experiencing things that go bump in the night.
Yeah.
I mean, this topic is endless.
It is.
And people's moods change.
Yeah.
Relationships fall apart.
Yeah.
Down to even buying something, you know, we all love secondhand shopping.
Yeah.
And how everything can actually carry a spirit, an imprint, however you describe it. Yeah. And I've seen some pretty heavy stuff happening in people's homes. So let's talk about.
Well, I can tell you something that is a personal thing for me. And if I can show you, I took a picture of it this morning on my phone. If we talk about, you know, people have antiques in their house or things that have been handed down by family members or friends or Anyway, really old stuff, and it even goes down to far as a piece of land that a house might be built on. It can go endlessly. But I've got this. I'll see if I can show the picture. Barber's chair, an old barber's chair that I bought from. Can you see it on there?
Oh yes, I've sat in it.
Yeah. And that's the plaque on the back. I don't know whether you can read it, but when we first got it, it's what it says is Congress 1 lever, painted October 1900, Cohen Barbers Supply, St. Louis, USA. So it's an original chair in St. Louis. Well, anyway, the first time I actually brought it home, because it was in the salon I worked in, and I didn't feel it in there because I've had this gift all my life. I can shut it off.
Yeah.
And I can tune in. So I'm able to do that, which is really good for me. Anyway, the first time we brought it home, sitting in it, and then tuning in, I got this vision of this barber shop, the mirror in front, a couple of older barbers in there working away, and the chit-chat going on, men smoking and holding newspapers, waiting. And this whole scenario was playing out in my mind of what belonged to this chair. And then you can go further down it.
Ah, yes.
People that sat in it. Because everyone who sat in it has left an imprint of some sort. And this goes along with all antique stuff or whatever. But when it comes to a spirit, that's a little bit different, because the spirit, if it really loves, whether it's its house or the person's house, or an object that they really loved, it could be anything from a diamond ring to a bit of furniture,
a hairbrush.
Yes, it can be just anything possible that they absolutely loved. If they're not willing to let it go, they will go with it. And this also goes for some spirits don't want to leave their family. I mean, it's endless. And some family members don't want to let go of the person that's died. And that can almost hold them here sometimes. But yes, it's endless, honestly.
I know with you and I, again, we've been called mystical wranglers and spiritual private investigators and psychic chicks and cleaned up and cleared out and everything else. Everyone has that gift.
Yes, everyone does.
And they don't know it.
Yeah.
If the spirit is there attached to something, like for me, oh, wow, picking up something, I know exactly who's made it, where it came from.
Yeah.
I think what we're trying to do is bring to the viewers what kind of world we're actually living in.
Absolutely, and everything has a story.
I first and foremost, everybody, I want to say to you, between Ginny and I mean, I've had 3 years intense training in that order. It's an order that I trained in the giftings of being able to clear houses. I've had some incredible, beautiful, very powerful, respectful people teaching me. But I had the gift already. But what they did, and the same with Ginny, Ginny's had years of training and studying. She's had mentors mentoring her. It's just something that we don't go in lightly, but we're talking about it because there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And did you know, once people start to recognize the simplicity of it all, oh wow, their lives are going to be so wonderful. And I'm not scaring anyone. We don't want to scare anyone, but we just want to show you how everything is in a relationship with everything.
Yeah.
For me, Ginny, like if I stay in a motel or if I go somewhere, everybody calls me a princess in the pea. I can't sleep in the bed.
Oh, I'm
because
the same.
I feel everything that's happened in that bed.
That's no good in a hotel, is it?
But again, we learn to shut off from that. So I'm very careful what is actually here on this earth plane.
Yeah.
And I take everything that I know in such respect and honor and holy and graceful and reverence, because everything in the spiritual realm, doesn't it? It needs respecting as on the physical plane.
Absolutely. It goes, and it's like when you're I don't want to say dealing with a spirit, when you're interacting with a spirit, it's like you're interacting with another human being, someone who has just lost their physical form. That's all. So you wouldn't go treating another human being in a horrible way or anything like that. You treat the spirit person with love and respect, encouragement, but you sometimes have to be firm, because sometimes they're very fearful about stuff. And I also want to say, this is not to scare anyone. It's actually not scary. If you just think that the spirit person was a living person at one point, they just lost their physical body. So you're actually dealing with another person. It's not a scary thing. It's not meant to be scary. It's actually natural.
You know, the good old TV shows and, you know, all those other things have put a fear factor into humanity. Yeah. That's why I don't go looking at horror movies.
Yeah.
But there are 2 points that I know that Ginny and I will touch on too. I stay away, and it's a big no-no with Ouija boards.
Oh yeah.
And trance.
Yeah.
Because in there you're dealing with a lot of stuff. So this is going to be a jovial conversation. We're going to share some pretty amazing stuff with you. And it's so funny. It's so funny because a lot of people come to us with regards to, actually these are healers and mediums and clairvoyants and that. And they are so upset. They can't seem to shift themselves from, and we have to respect that, because what Ginny and I do and what we began several months ago in our work together is, who heals the healers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the clairvoyant or the medium or for me it's everything. Yeah. So Ginny and I kind of click. Yeah, we're ghost hunters. We're mystical wranglers. We get in. We're private investigators. We get into people's properties, into businesses. We can map who was there years and years ago, no matter what colour of your skin is or creed or nationality. It's a fascinating life.
It is. What I find is, you saying about hotels, and you pick up that from the bed, who's been in the bed and everything. I'm so glad that John and I have got a camper van now, because when we stayed in home stays, farm stays, bed and breakfast, hotels, quite often, not every single time, but quite often, I will end up working when we're staying there, because obviously the spirit folk must see my shining light out, and they get attracted to me, and then I quite often don't sleep much because there's so much activity. And I've over the years I've learned to fine-tune my senses. Sorry about that. Over the years I've learned to fine-tune my senses to pick up spirit frequencies. And I other people don't hear them, and you can hear a click in the room. It can be like a little spark of electricity. It can be a very gentle tap on the window. You know, it can be something, and you know, everyone will say, "Oh yeah, that's natural noises." Sometimes it is, but not most of the time.
Or I call them the shadow people walking past.
Yes, out the corner of your eye, you can see someone's walk past.
Or you're walking through. You know, you remember the Da Vinci Code? I love the Da Vinci Code. And you're in there and you're looking down on the cities, and you see the people there of ancient ones gone by. And it's very natural for us to be part of their world. Yes. Remember, we're only guests in their world.
Absolutely.
So, you know, Ginny, we've experienced...
Sorry.
We've experienced so much over the years, you and I together, and it's like, oh, brilliant.
We have. I mean, when I think about some of the experiences I've had, some of them have been really, only because I didn't know what was going on, quite scary, but that was just the fear that I had in me. And I know that a lot of other people that are coming up and coming into this realm, feel fearful. And it is, like you said, it's the horror films and all that have actually created the fear.
It has
really
influence.
It's not fearful. Yeah.
You know, one time this bishop said to me, he said to me that we are all gifted and we have that foresight and that sixth sense. This is a bishop talking. What it is that when they found someone that was truly connected to that, they believed in the olden days. They believed in the olden days that it was priests and shamans and all that are only able to remove entities from the spiritual realm. But I think it's come to the point now that we all have to learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
And I know that you've been teaching people lately doing it, and I know that I've got my students at the moment that we're touching on just now. Yeah. But there's a preparation that we must go through. Yeah. It's just not for the willy-nilly to turn up and pick up a stick and go bang, bang, bang. No. The motto comes back again, isn't it, Ginny? Healed, healed, hurt, hurt. If you're not clean within yourself, yes. If you are harbouring some sort of unkind lies and unkind thoughts and living a double life, then you're in trouble. Yeah. Then you are in trouble.
That's actually what my book is going to be about, is actually how to teach people the correct way of moving a spirit person to the light.
Thank you.
The build up of it first.
Thank you for that, because I personally have a ritual. If it's a ritual, it's not really a ritual, it's just something that works for me. Yeah. Is that I might go into a fasting for 24 hours if I know that I've got a big job on, or the prayers that I say. Normally the Lord's Prayer, good old Lord's Prayer.
Lord's Prayer is magic. Good? Yes, it is. Yeah.
But if you are in fright or you are concerned about things, do find someone who knows what they're doing, that is walking their talk, that is the word holy that I adhere to is holy as in reverence and grace. Yeah. And they know what they're doing. Yeah. So we're touching a lot on here, and we're going to carry on with this. Yeah. Tell me about bringing. I know I've had a lot of experiences about bringing something home from a secondhand shop.
Yeah. Wow.
Your life is really good, your relationship is good, your family's all good. Then all of a sudden, overnight, something's not right.
Yeah, but that happens to me actually quite frequently, because I know that spirits see my light, and I know that they know that I can help them. So I quite often bring spirit home with me without knowing it. I can quite honestly say that. I don't. Sometimes I know it and sometimes I don't. But anyway, I will start experiencing things at home then, and I think, okay, right, I'm going to check myself out. And yes, there will be someone with me, or someone's come home and they've come into the house. And that's just what happens to me. And this doesn't happen to everyone, but when we go down to antiques and things like that, if you go into an antique shop, you can feel the energy in there, no matter who you are, whether you think you're open or not. You can feel the energy in there. It's actually a denser type of thicker feeling, because the furniture that's in there and all the things that are in there have had many, many timelines of being around, and they pick up imprints and frequencies from those timelines. But also, if, like we were saying before, if there is a spirit person that absolutely loves that piece of furniture or that something in that antique shop, they're going to stay with it, they're going to be with it, and they're going to make sure that it's looked after and stuff. So, you know, you can bring home things like that attached to something. It doesn't have to be anything living. It can be attached to, like we were saying, a hairbrush, piece of furniture. And then you'll start noticing at home, you may start noticing little things happening. It starts off very small, usually, to begin with. And then if the spirit person isn't noticed, or their piece of furniture or something isn't being treated with respect like they would treat it, then they'll start giving more activity or trying to get noticed is what. So, I mean, I suppose, I've never even thought of this before, but I suppose there could be some form of something out there, whether it's a meditation or a prayer or something that you could say when you bring that piece of furniture home. It's almost like you've got to show that piece of furniture respect because of who it belonged to.
Okay, there is something that I do. Like if I pick up something from somewhere and I fall in love with that piece of furniture and I know that, oh, it'll look really good, because we have a lot of antiques.
Yeah.
I mean, dating back, I've got a cupboard. Oh my gosh, my cupboard over here is from the 1800s.
Wow.
From Germany.
Yeah.
And I'm eating off dinner plates that are over 100 years old.
Yeah, see, that's lovely.
So what I needed to do was go, okay. When I first met this cupboard, I go, it was a wedding present. I go, oh, ouch. Like, oh, ouch. So what I do in respect, oh, ouch, when I feel something or hear something, and I can hear cries, or I can hear disturbances like fights or anything that resembles humanity. And I go, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
But I really love that piece of furniture. And I would love to care for it in my home because it looks absolutely beautiful, and I understand why you have fallen in love with it.
Yeah.
But it's here in solid form. I'm here in solid form, and I will love it completely, wholly, and beautiful. But why are you here?
Yeah.
And so I don't get into a deep conversation.
No, I don't.
Why are you here? And you'll get a 10-second a conversation, and I go, holy, holy, holy. I am here. How can I help you? And then all of a sudden, in that moment, they'll start crying, because guess why, viewers? Ginny knows. It's because I have compassion.
Yes.
I have respect for that being who has been in human form.
Yeah.
I'm not into mockery, spirits or ghosts. That is a no-no in my book.
Yeah.
And I go, how can I help you? Perhaps we take you home now. Would you like to go home? And 20 out of 20, what they do, because they don't understand time.
Yeah.
Existence, and it's just that they're stuck in the astral plane, and then this beautiful love and light comes in, because I choose to respect.
Absolutely.
And respect and love, because everything that we are, I'll pick up my camera here. If we don't respect things, they won't respect you.
Yeah.
The land.
Yeah.
The buildings. We are a visitor. We don't own it because we don't own it, because we are a visitor in the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
If people can understand that. So you and I are going to tap into this, because between us both, we've got a wee mantra.
Yeah.
That we'll give you all. We'll put it up within a few days. But again, I go, holy, holy. Respect, love, compassion comes out. And do you know what I use, my darling? Get it for you.
Is this your magic spray?
Good old-fashioned lavender oil in water. You know,
lavender's brilliant. I actually have got loads of lavender plants in my garden around the house.
Mm.
It's not only does it smell nice and also
it
create
protects you.
It's a protection.
Because you have to protect your etheric field if you're working this way. Well, every human being needs to protect their etheric field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I found, you know, with the prayers that I say, the honouring, I call in guardians of the north, south, east and west.
Yeah.
In that breath, there's honour for all things. The
Absolutely.
God essence, the God, you know, we're going to touch on guides. Ginny's really good at this, you know, but good old lavender oil.
Lavender's brilliant.
I want to touch on something else, and we'll because this has just come into the forefront. You know, people will be going, oh, boo-hoo, and all the rest, you know. We've been brought up for generation after generation about exorcism.
Mm.
I am an intercessor prayer warrior, so I step in on behalf of, and I have witnessed in my training in my first 3 years that I'm speaking about, and it does exist.
Mm.
It is very well alive today. But again, it takes someone like Ginny and myself. We do it in twos. Now, in there, my first, I'm going to talk about that manifestation, okay? Should we touch on that manifestation thing? Because it does manifest. What you think about comes about.
Absolutely, it does.
And so people will be in their homes, and we actually had to go into this home. There were two of us there, a male and a female. And what happened was there was a spirit in the home, and this was huge. So everything was manifesting. So these people did everything possible. They got in priests, they got in a tohanga, they got in everything to clear this house up. And I was seeing, because I'm a visual person, a seer, the crosses that people put on, you know, the priests put up. I've been trained by a priest, by the way. But there's wrong prayers and there's right prayers. And those crosses in oil were manifesting upside down. They were bleeding off every doorway.
Oh dear.
So yes, it does exist, and yes, it is pretty real, but very far and few between. So I had to go and I had to get the holy water and do what I'm trained in and wash those crosses off. Now, I began that and I did my prayer in covering, and I started wiping it off in prayers, and I was fully in the presence of God. And what was happening was those crosses were coming back real fast. More would appear. So I just waited and I thought, okay, show me. Show me, show me, show me. And then I looked over to the owners of the home and I go, oh my gosh, what they were doing was wrong internally. They had got Ouija boards out, and what was happening was there was a big warfare to clean up. Once I was showing that, and once I said to them and asked them, have you been playing? Because a lot of people don't understand what they're delving into. Have you been playing I go, yes. So the healing was done on them. They were carrying it. And then lo and behold, that was cleared up.
Yeah.
Don't know why I had to say this to you all, but it was just came through and I had to say that.
Yeah.
So
it's fascinating, isn't it? How things can work. And it quite often is that us or a human triggers off this by doing or playing with something they shouldn't be playing with. You know, even down to someone's belief system. If they believe in perhaps not very nice things or demons or whatever it is that you are thinking about. I don't believe in that myself. I have had to deal with some pretty nasty things, but I don't actually believe it was a demon. I think it was something else, which we'll go into another time.
Oh, it's possibly the ETs and that are coming through.
Yes.
You know, where there's dark, there's light, and there are ETs that put, you know, there's, I guess that's why people call us the private investigators.
Yeah.
Because we're able to pinpoint, actually, that's trickery.
Yeah.
And actually, this is what's going on.
I had one client come to me that had her life had just gone completely, and her health for about 20 years. And she came to me, she'd only just found out about me, she came to me, and this was new for me as well, so this was a learning for me, but I picked up that there wasn't a spirit person attached to her, but there was a not very nice ET actually attached. And it also made me aware of how fully protected I am, because it did try and come at me, but it couldn't. It got taken up. But as soon as we removed it, and I'll say we because I'm the conduit, but it's me and my team.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I'm the same. We've got our little protectors.
My German Shepherd.
It's me and the team that actually do it together. This lady's life has completely turned around since that happened, and she'd been carrying this, who'd been messing with her life for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's how it can affect you. I've actually had an attachment before I fully opened up into my natural way of being. I'll put it on my knowing. I had an attachment once who was very angry. And my family actually noticed my personality started to change. I'm not an angry person, but they started to see that I was getting irritated with things and all sorts. And it was the spiritual group that I went to at the time. The next time I went along, they went, "Oh my goodness me, Ginny, you have got this really angry male with you." And they removed him off me, and I went totally back to normal. And I will say, and this is why I'm going to write this book, or I've started, but this is why I'm going to write this book, because everyone needs to know how to move a spirit person on, because it releases any fear that you might hold about the spirit world. Also, if you know how to deal with something, the fear of it goes. So and you know, the veils are actually becoming a lot thinner now, so there's a lot more activity going on.
And thank you for bringing that up, Ginny, is because I'm noticing it too now that I seem to be getting a lot of people and going crazy.
Yeah.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering, and they've been to everybody that they could possibly think of for help, and they've come back with such hideous nonsense. It's all cobble-wash and what they're manifesting within themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm very pleased that we were able to be here today and start our TV channel to speak stuff like this, because it's not spoken about.
It's not spoken about at all. People are fearful of saying about it.
And people, believe me, this conversation is well secure. Because, you know, again, I go into prayers. Prayers are we are a living prayer.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
the work that we do is Amazing. It's beautiful work.
It's holy work. It's soul rescue. We're actually rescuing another person's soul who is fearful about moving to the light in some way, or feeling they're going to be judged. When I talk to a spirit person who is earthbound, as I call it, again, like you, Heather, I talk to them with respect, with love. You know, I open my heart to them, and I talk to them, and I tell them there's nothing to fear. They're not going to be judged in any way. They're going to meet up with their family members who are actually loving and have been healed if healing needed to take place. And that's what will happen to them. They'll just go up, they'll go into a healing space, and they'll be looked after. And you know what? As soon as I say to the spirit person, you're not going to be judged, that seems to be the trigger, and off they go. I can see them going up. And at some of the times, I'm gonna mention this because I feel it's important. Some of the times they are fearful of being judged because they have been told when they were little.
Thank you.
The wrath of God. You must not do that because God will punish you. Blah blah blah.
You're sinning.
Yeah. And you know, God does not punish you. It doesn't happen.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. And I'll pick up from that.
Yeah.
I remember several years ago I was asked overseas if I could tune into a home, and of course not knowing where, what, how, but there's something really huge happening, and all of a sudden, you know, I was there, and I was seeing there were 27 young soldiers there. And I was getting red coat, hop to, red coat. And you're seeing them there in that place, not knowing anything about the home. Because sometimes we don't need to know. We only need to know on a need-to-know basis.
Absolutely, yeah.
And wow, you know, there were 3 dudes there. They were only young boys. And they were protecting the younger ones. And you saw their hideous crimes that were done to them. You saw the whole thing. And I spoke to the 3 older ones, and they were really angry that someone was there to, and I said, look, God help. And all of a sudden the heavens opened up, and their mothers turned up, their wives turned up because they were only young boys. There was an army of angels there that were nurturing them. Yeah. Because we have to call on the help of the company of heaven in situations like that. And then the rest of the time, you just call upon those angels. Yeah. And because the nurturing and the healing that is, everyone was crying. I was crying to witness such beauty.
Yeah. It is a wonderful thing. And
that was hundreds of years ago. I know that we live in New Zealand, and I know it's a little bit taboo here about New Zealand being the Maori, but I have done more work with the Maori people in finding skeletons and bodies and bones anywhere in this world.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful work.
It is beautiful work. I am so grateful that I can do it. And when you help a soul over, it's a blessing. And you feel humbled that you've been able to do it and help them, you know?
Yep.
It really is. It's such a wonderful feeling. That's why I call it soul rescue, because you are actually helping to rescue a soul who's lost. And you really are passionate and loving towards that person. And again, you know, every time I do it, I call everyone in the company of heaven, all my guides, angels, absolutely everyone, because sometimes you go into a situation and you don't know what you're actually going to deal with. So you make sure you call them in first. So they're all with you. You've got your team, as I call them, with you. Last time I went home to the UK and I stayed with Mum, there's a place called Maiden Castle in Dorset, and they've found human life living there, dates back 6,000 years. And anyway, I like walking on top of there, and I decided to go for a walk one day, and I got shown by upstairs. So obviously the land needed healing, and I got shown by upstairs. This video played out in front of me of, first of all, I heard a girl scream, a woman scream, and I thought, oh my God, what's that about? So anyway, I got showed this video, and as I was walking along this grass path, there was, you know, which was literally like a field with the sheep in it and everything. But as I was walking along this path, in my mind, I'm seeing huts either side. I'm seeing a muddy path in front of me. I'm hearing animals. I can hear a pig. I can hear a cow. I can hear sheep. I can hear people talking. I can hear a blacksmith banging metal and making something. I can hear all sorts of noises. And as I'm walking down this path, I realise, and I'm not fully shown exactly what happened to this girl, but this girl was stuck in this timeline, and she needed help to be moved over because I got taken to where there was an old temple, and she was a sacrifice, a virginal sacrifice. And that must have been what they did in those days. I mean, I didn't know much about that. It's like Heather said, sometimes you don't need to know everything. And I had to do a clearing to help her over. She was stuck there all these years, wandering that land. And it was so sad to know that. But the joy and the feeling of comfort from myself, once I'd healed that, because it was actually the land that needed healing, the energy on the land that needed healing, as well as her needing to be helped over. And again, I like yourself, I called in north, south, east, west. I actually took crystals up there and I spotted them around, purifying crystals. And I did a mass healing. I walked, it's quite a big area, and I walked north, south, east, west, and around it. And obviously upstairs were coming in. Anyway, we healed it, and I felt, right, this is done now. And I just got guided to stand there with my iPhone, and they said to me, take pictures of the clouds, because I get messages of the clouds, So I just stood there, and I couldn't actually see anything with my human eyes. So I stood there, and I went round in a circle, and I just took loads of pictures. And when I got back home, and I loaded them up onto the big computer and had a look at them, I've got them now here on my phone. There's a picture of what looks like, this is who helped me do this. He looked like you would think God would look like, but he looked like a Viking as well. So a man staring down from the clouds with this big beard and this huge presence. I also got a picture of a wizard's hat that looked like Merlin, and there was a wand, and then this vortex.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the next picture was in the clouds, this image of what I took to be looked like a star person holding some sort of stick thing with like a star on the end of it, and a very, very tall head and very square shoulders. And I know that they allowed me to take those pictures.
Yes, I get that too.
Yeah.
That's the gift, isn't it?
It is,
because you were so present and being able to be of service.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we are of service.
Yeah, we are.
And the gift is in something like that, and
precious gift.
It's so precious and it's so loving.
Yes, it is.
And it's showing us that we are on the right track.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I have God in the clouds.
Yeah.
After, these wonderful phones, technology is really invented for this. After a big job. And it's really funny because the work that we do, Ginny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Next minute, this huge, we live up on top of a hill a little bit, huge big swarm of bees come over me in celebration. And I love bees, and they swirl around you.
Yeah.
So if we're open to the beauty of the divine and the reason why humanity is here.
Yeah.
And honestly, everyone that's watching this, Ginny and I've got 80 years of experience behind us, and the stories and the passion and finding people. Oh my gosh, we can find people because we have devoted our life in service to humanity.
Absolutely.
So look, I want to say thank you. You know, Ginny and I will be back next week.
Yeah.
We're going to touch more on this topic because I can just do our thing.
Isn't there? Yeah.
Lots and lots of things. If you have any questions, letters, I'm putting Ginny's website there. I'm putting my website down below. Please contact us.
Please do. Ask any questions that you have.
Any questions.
Yeah.
You know, we're blessed to know you all.
Yeah, we are. And we're blessed to be here to be able to answer these questions and help humanity and nature as we are able to. It really is a blessing.
I've got some meditations that Ginny sent over to me, and because I'm the technical person, they're going to be up shortly too, because you really must listen to her. She's talented, she's gifted, and a lot of things are becoming out of the desk because we are about to change things around.
Yeah.
We're the ones that see you all.
Yeah.
We're the ones that see the despair.
Yeah.
And yes, we are in fabulous times.
We are. Awesome times.
So, thank you, Ginny.
Thank you, Heather. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you're such a wonderful gift, and you have such a wonderful gifts to help humanity and nature and the planet Earth and more, I will say, because I know where you go. You're absolutely wonderful, and we are blessed, the pair of us. Absolutely.
And the blessing is
like many others, I would say. Have you got visitors?
Ali. Platzikin. Yes. Bye-bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Ginny. Bye-bye.
Lots of love. Thanks, Heather.